How's everybody doing?
Gonna show us your computer tonight?
If you want, let me see.
Oh, no, if you need to. So
why is my video?
I sent Brett Johnson a message. He's doing some protests soon, just in his area in Missouri.
Yeah, we want to start communicating with that part too.
Yeah, I asked him to call in tonight, and he said he couldn't stay for too long. I said, you only have to stay. You only have to stay on the call long enough to tell us, about your upcoming protest tour. That's it. Right. And he was like, okay, he was cool with that. So, just long enough. I just want him. If he doesn't want to stay for the whole thing, that's fine. Just call us, tell us what he's doing, where he's going to be, and when. And then he said he has some message that he wants to type and send to you tonight. I sent you a text about that.
Yeah, he's got. I've been talking to him the last couple of days about that actually. So
yeah, I'm just saying I want him to keep us informed so that we can make his protests the most, I guess, powerful, is that the word, effective as they can be. Because usually he said he has where he gets pushed off campus by the security. And I've said, well, that wouldn't really be a problem for you though if the reporters were there, because you'd still have the cameras on you, you'd still have the news. And
well, I mean, he's just got to realize where the public areas are.
Yeah, but he could, he could still get on the news, still make a big deal, still get the spotlight, and he could even kind of complain about the campus security censoring him. He could say it that way, and then that would help him too. So
yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know if you remember that one in Mobile where they censored the bloodstained men, and we ended up getting 60,000 views on a Facebook post.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so 60,000 views on a Facebook post, all for the because they shut us down. So to me, it's even better.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So
he needs to have I don't know how he's
talking about things.
I don't know how he's videotaping it, but they need some GoPros, so that he can have recording, kind of like
cell phones. I don't know.
Kind of like Jerry Thorn. I always screw up his last name, Thornborough or whatever. It starts with a TH. The guy that does he's on YouTube. Yeah. He does the protests in New York somewhere.
Yeah, I know him. Somewhere. Oh,
yeah, Lee knows him. She brought him up here. What's Jerry's last name?
I think I don't know.
It's no big deal. It's kind of a different last name, but no big deal.
Can I just I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm at work, so I just want to share something really quick.
Please go ahead.
Before I have to go back to work. So last week I'm at work. And the baby was, of course, mutilated in the morning. So my coworker is saying, "Oh, he needs some extra TLC because his pee-pee hurts." So I sigh. Yeah. She's like, "Lee, you don't believe me? He needs some extra TLC. His pee-pee hurts." And I'm like, no comment, I say to her, right? This is at the nurse's station. She's like, "What's wrong?" So another nurse comes out and says, "Lee doesn't believe in circumcision." I was floored. In my head, I'm like, where did that come out of? So my coworker's like, "You don't believe in it?" I'm like, "I take the fifth." I said, "I plead the fifth, Judge." And then the other nurse is like, "Leave her alone." And I'm thinking, I don't say nothing.
You should be proud
and
of
then
it. I don't know how
I know. And then a couple of hours later, I'm like, darn, I should have said, I'm a conscious objector. Make her look it up. Make her look it up.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great opportunity, I think.
Oh man.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Did your heart start pounding? Did you get all nervous? I would have been like, oh my God. And I would have
been no. I was waiting for the conversation, but nothing ever come up with it.
No, oh my God.
So the other nurse was, I don't know where the other nurse came out of, how I am, what they came out of, where she came out of that, out of the blue. Oh, I don't believe in it. Yeah, I don't believe in mutilation. Yeah, no, I don't.
I don't believe in chopping off fingers either, or earlobes. I mean, let's just use some common sense here.
Yeah. All right. So I just wanted to share that with you guys.
That's crazy. I don't know how you do it. It would be so frustrating.
I wouldn't be able to do it either.
You have to keep your mouth shut, and you have to be play the politics.
Oh,
or whatever.
I had an epiphany the other day, though. I had an epiphany. This was my epiphany. So if a nurse is telling the patient that her baby's not perfect, I'm just gonna go behind her and tell her baby is perfect, right? Because someone's asking if you want cosmetic surgery for your baby, then you're saying that that baby's not perfect.
Right.
Right. I know, Mike. Thank you, Daniel.
That's a good idea. That's a good way of not, I guess, not creating internal
Right.
stress. You know, just it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be so frustrated, but I'm luckily not in that position. I would not be able to be so PC. I'm just one of those people that am outspoken, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's difficult for me to keep my mouth shut when something like that's happening around me. But I don't know how you do it. Yeah. Now, much respect to you, Lee, for being able to put up with
I
that.
know. I go back and forth. When I have good days, I have the good days. But when the bad days come and I'm like, oh, I think I need a new job. Let me go look for a new job.
Yeah, but you can do a lot in there, right? I mean, you can
Oh,
plant seeds. You can, just like little things like you said, like even if you just said, I think if they ask you that you don't believe in circumcision, I think all human beings are born just exactly how their DNA was created, and they're perfect that way.
right.
You can say something like that.
I never say the C word to a patient. I try to like unconsciously educate without saying that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to get off the topic of tonight's meeting, but I always say, this is what I say. So when they cover the baby's hands, right? Babies are born with long fingernails and they scratch their face. So all parents, I hate the fucking mittens. I hate them. I'm just like, so what do you think is more painful? A little scratch or a cut with a knife?
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Common sense a little bit, but
I mean, they have to
society
rip the opening. They have to rip it open.
Oh,
they have to grab onto it. It's adhered to the top. They have to rip it open.
I know,
just
Daniel.
to insert the probe.
They don't know that, Daniel. The parents do not know.
These people are just ridiculously stupid.
They don't tell them procedure. They don't tell them how they do the procedure. You know that, right?
Yeah, of course.
And the consent is bullshit. So.
Oh yeah, well, it's not informed consent, because informed consent would be like, do you want to chop off your fingers of your child for no reason?
Yeah.
Because they're dirty. You might get a fungus infection between your fingers. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's just so ridiculous. But anyways. Well, tonight.
I'm listening. That's it.
No, I was just gonna say tonight. I'll go ahead. Sorry, it's. I just woke up a little bit ago because I worked last night, and I got to work tonight. Another night tonight as well. But anyways, yesterday I made the how to do web forms video, and it covered everything that I've come across as far as the like I've had I don't know. Let me see what I wrote out here. I'm gonna
send me that video, Daniel.
I did. It was in the description. I text everybody tonight.
Oh yeah, I was in there, but I mean, I can't get that on my computer. But okay, I could just type in the URL. I guess.
Well, I did email you with the whole email that you're going to be sending to all the So anyways, Scott is going to be our new volunteer coordinator. So thank you, Scott.
Recruiter for that, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be the well, I wouldn't necessarily call you the recruiter, maybe the organizer or coordinator, because you're going to be helping me with everybody that's already on board. And so everybody here has already done. How are you, Bentley? Have you I think Bentley's done one of our did you have any trouble with that, Bentley? Do you have any questions with sending web forms? Yeah, let me see if I can ask Bentley. I see her there.
I can't hear you.
Ask to unmute. Let's see. Ask to unmute. I don't know. Maybe she's there. You there, Bentley? Anyways, what I was gonna say is, so Scott is gonna be just helping me with. I might as well just show my screen and I'll show you guys the email. So we got. Oh wait, am I still sharing the screen? You guys see my screen? It should be having a little circle around it, but it's not. Okay, but you can't see my screen right now, right? Everybody there? Hello, hello.
I can see it. I can see it. I can
Okay.
see yours.
Okay, so so we got the email that I sent yesterday. Let me just pull that up, Scott. See everybody. I'm mining Bitcoin. I've made $1.50 in Bitcoin so far. Let's see. Sent.
No, I thought you made a lot more. You made 30 or something, right? 150. How long did that take?
What's that?
How long did that take? I thought you made more.
$1.50 on this computer.
Or is that a new?
I'm up to $1.74. 0.00003 Bitcoin. It's not lucrative, but I'm just learning. Okay, let's see. Here's the video. It's on YouTube now. So this is about how to send the web forms, and it's like 44 minutes. So it's pretty long, but it's like got everything in there. Like you could possibly question about how to do web forms. You know, like there's sending it, putting the information in, and there's like different, you know, like if you come across, you know, for instance, like you'll have sometimes these are different, you know, people you would like to reach within this organization. And I talked about high value targets, like who would we target? You know, for instance, there was an organization for midwives in here that had like all these different areas that you could put, that you could send the message to, and you have to select each one. And they were all high value areas. So anyways, go through this video, and then even if you've done this before, but if you have any questions, it should answer all of them.
As for Sarah, I was going to send you Florida. It's rather long. Is that okay with you? It's 12 pages about 11 of
11 pages long for Florida.
Yeah, news outlet.
Yeah, send it to me. I mean, that'll take me obviously maybe like a week or so then, but that's fine. Like, yeah, send it to me. That's fine.
Okay. All right. I'll email it to you. I'm going to email it to you in a few minutes. Okay.
Okay.
About
so all right. Okay.
So yeah, I'm doing it on my computer. I'm about to send it to you. So all right.
Well, thanks.
So check your email. It's coming soon.
Let me try to get back to this email. So this is the email that they're gonna get. And I did the video. I did go over this in the video. The main goal of NLI is to enhance, encourage, and support all Intactivists. We want to use your talents and skills to full potential to help all Intactivists. All Intactivists we can be better at saving babies. I need to rewrite that. We are creating powerful, effective, and efficient all volunteer Intactivist programs designed to reach those of influence over this issue in our society. We think this is the most bang for your Intactivist time there is. We know through our testing what we are doing is working. The babies we will save for a program will be saved without you. What I mean by that is we're limited by the number of volunteers we get, right? We're limited by the people that we can get involved in so you know, Brandon Murata wrote a book about it. Okay, and if you read the book, everything he talks about in the book is exactly what we're doing. So he literally wrote a book for us. But I'm like, who else is doing that? Like, he wrote a book about it, but is there anybody doing it? Okay, and I would say that we're the only organization I know that's actually actively outreaching beyond just showing up to, you know, I'm not talking about, you know, like Bloodstained Men obviously is outreaching because all the people that they run across. But again, that's pretty much it, is traveling protests. You're going to run into somebody on the street, right? Who's reaching out to high value professionals? Probably nobody but us, right? And this is literally what you would do if you were marketing a product or a service, right? You would do the same thing. You would find your target audience, you would go out and you would reach them, and then you would market to them. You would develop databases, and you would develop a list of those people, and then you would send, you know, marketing campaigns to them, right? That's what you would do if you're an internet marketer, right? So it blows my mind that we're literally the only ones doing this. But that's my point, is that what we're doing is what everybody should be doing, right? No matter what your target audience is or who your target audience is, even if your target audience is Intactivists themselves, you still need to develop a list. You still need to, and I'm not saying that all organizations are not doing that. I know that like Intact America, they have an email list. I'm on it. You know, Forgin has an email list. I'm on that one too. So they have lists and stuff like that. But as far as outreach, right? Like outreach, gathering new people, that's, you know, most everybody's relying on social media. So anyways, any organization or group can still do this. And we need to get them doing this type of stuff where they're outreaching to different organizations or different groups. But anyways, so let me go back to what we were doing here. So what we're doing is working. The reason why I'm saying it's working is because we have validation that those emails are being read through MailChimp, and that's in the video, and also, of course, getting 20 articles printed. And I think that in my professional opinion, that our 4 emails that were sent out, the first 4 of the FGM to MGM series, which is only going to be 5, they all got sent out prior to the Bloodstained Men even showing up, and we had a pretty decent, read ratio. So some, 200, 300 reads of these emails prior to us even showing up, right? So I think that had an influence on the number of articles we were able to get, because it put it in their minds, right? It's kind of like any prospect of any business. They'll say for sales that you want to at least communicate with your customer 8 times before they even pay attention to you. They're even acknowledged that you're there. So, and this is kind of another issue I have with going out and just doing protests, right? Because they're going to see you one time, right? They're just going to see you one time and that's it. And that's fantastic. You're going to plant some seeds. You're going to do a lot, but we need repeatability. Okay. And that's what these types of outreach programs, where you're gathering a list and you're creating campaigns and you're repeatedly communicating with these people and hopefully gathering some of them into your tribe, or whatever they call it, a tribe. I don't know if it's a common word in marketing. Everybody likes to use that term, but your group, you're the people that are in your target audience, right? And everybody's our target audience who has influence, right? So again, you could take this and you could apply it to any sorry, I just woke up literally, you can see it in my eyes, but you can apply this to any focus, right? So, I have had people come to me and say, hey, I'm a Christian. I want to focus on Christian religion. Well, you don't, there's such a huge potential for that, right? The only thing that we're limited is we don't have enough time. We're already stretched thin with all the stuff that we're doing. So if I had some more volunteers, right, we could reach out to and have a religious outreach, right? And they have the same thing, same kind of procedures. You gather the data, you go online, you gather the data, you put it in a database that you can use easily, that you can use to communicate with the people. You write campaigns, you send out the campaigns, you follow up with phone calls. And the follow-up phone calls, I don't know if I kind of heard you maybe talking about it, but the follow-up phone calls, I don't think, I am notorious for being like the person that that has a lot of emotional response to this. Like I'll get upset especially like when I'm talking to a cutter on Facebook or something. That's why I'm literally blocked from those platforms, from Twitter and Facebook, just because, I tend to have a difficulty responding correctly. But our goal with these tele-intactivism phone calls is not to be confrontational or to actually even to educate them. It's really to gauge the effectiveness of our programs and to create an initial first contact that's positive, right? That gets us in the door so that the next time, maybe, down the road, we can start working towards, answering their questions or whatever. And we also have that ability to answer the questions while we're there with them the first time, right? I'm not saying that we shouldn't, if someone's interested in you're curious and they want to learn, then by all means, educate them. That would be the best case scenario, of course. If you call them and say, hey, with Paul Suttermeyer, he helped us with developing a script, and I haven't completely solidified it, but we have a whole thing of script listed, tele-intactivism script ideas. This is a pretty big document right here that's got like a whole ton of really powerful information that we're going to use to make more of our scripts and write the scripts anyways. So the scripts are going to be very, very easy. I'm haven't even fixed my hair today. The scripts are going to be very easy. Like, you're going to call them and you're going to say, hey, we're part of a child's rights organization, and we recently sent out a campaign to your email. We noticed that you read 2 of them or 3 of them or whatever, or you read all 4 of them. And, we just wanted to kind of, get your opinion on how you felt about them. And, we'll ask open-ended questions. What was your, what was your initial response to the first email? And how did that change as you went through the rest of the emails? Do you find yourself in a different position today? Do you think our program, how do you think our system was, our campaign was effective? Do you think Are there any areas that you think that it could be improved? Notice every one of these questions, I'm getting better at this, Paul, are open-ended questions, which means, you know, we're asking them to fill in the information. We're not asking a yes or no question. Like, for instance, the yes or no question would be, did you like the campaign? No. Yes or no, right? How did the campaign made you feel? Now that's a different thing, right? It's not a yes or no question. The answer yes or no, you kind of sound like you're not listening, right? So anyways, we're gonna have the whole script written out. It's gonna be so easy, and I really want to take the pressure off of completing that program, right? Yeah, I'm almost done with this. Okay. I love you, cutie. You're not on the outside. You're not, baby. Anyways, so see, like I even wrote this out. The goals of the Tell Intactivism first phone call. Okay, establishing a positive connection. Okay, developing report. Listen intently. Okay, so this is just kind of like an outline for writing this. Here's kind of like some ideas in the script. Hi, my name is. I work with an organization that works to protect children from harmful cultural practices. We recently completed an educational outreach program. I'm going to make this simple, of course, and but it's going to be super simple, right? Just so you guys know. I want you guys to get the idea of that. It's not going to be like a high pressure sales. You're not going to try to like get them to do anything or get them to admit anything or get them to acknowledge anything. You're just going to communicate with them, right? And then you want to see the goal of that phone call is to just gauge the effectiveness of the campaign, right? Not to add anything to it or to, anything like that. And so that establishes the first connection. And then you're going to write notes on this. You're going to say, this was their responses to some of these things. I would highly recommend that you record them, even if you don't, I guess it's illegal to record somebody, but we're not going to share this, right? This can be for your own personal feelings. And then later on, if you develop a report with these people, you can ask them, hey, I don't know, you can say, hey, do you mind if I record some of our conversations and, share them or whatever? I don't know. That's another road when we get there. I'm not even that worried about it. I was just thinking about that because it would be, if we have a lot of these really positive interactions, it would be super valuable for us to share these with other Intactivists so we can get people involved, because we really do need to get, the name of the game is to get more volunteers who are willing to, show up to Monday meetings or whatever. Like obviously everybody here has been pointing here for a while. We've all been committed to this. So it's more, you're more than solid with, I don't think anybody here is new today. We might have some new ones. We got 6 now on the call. Let me just see who's here now. Okay, Serena, what's up? Okay, Serena's been coming here, so yeah. Well, Serena's relatively new. And Serena, by the way, Scott's going to be helping you to get in touch with you to get you set up on the web form sending. So anyways, like I was mentioning earlier
hey, what sort of state do you want, Serena? Can she hear us?
Pardon?
You can hear me. Okay, good. What state do you want?
What?
We got to let her know what states we got. Okay.
Yeah. Hold on. Is it
what states do you have left, Scott? Which states are not being utilized right now? And we even have, we also have, don't forget, we have miscellaneous, we have parenting groups, and then we have doulas and midwives. And if to be honest with you guys, those 3 are probably more important than the media.
Right? Okay. I mean,
we started with the media because it's an immediate response that we can get. Like obviously, like we got 20 media articles printed. So but as far as long-term education, the main ones that I would think that would be most valuable would be parenting groups. The miscellaneous has just got a lot of different people that would probably be influential. And then, parenting groups, of course, and then doulas and midwives. Those are the parenting groups and doulas and midwives are, as far as the educational outreach is concerned, they're probably even more important than the media, right? So we need to make sure that those are covered.
Yeah. How about that? Okay, I'll consider.
Yeah, I would think that those would be also very interesting parts, right? There would be. I know Lee's doing she's doing the doulas and midwives of New York. She's doing I think that we cut that down to half. So Lee shouldn't be doing more than half of that. Let me pull up my web form tracking sheet. I sent this to Scott, so he has this. But this is the web form tracking. Let's just put who's who right now. Okay, we got Lee on New York. Bentley. Bentley was doing New York.
Yes,
Okay.
you said New York?
Right. Yeah, you're helping Lee with New York.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and I'm just gonna keep you there. So
Okay,
you
wait a
guys,
minute.
you guys
Wait a
feel like
minute.
it's too much or enough, or I know because we really want to get these done as fast as possible, but I don't want to rush it. But I do want to get these. What I would say kind of going through what we've doing is it would be fantastic if we had 15 volunteers running this and we could get this done in a week. That's just not going to happen.
Daniel?
Yes, go ahead, Lee.
Okay, so I have the list, my Google Documents for New York. So Bentley's doing New York. Is she doing the bottom list? Like how
No, we
how we splitting it?
Let
I
me
was
show
doing
you.
like the doulas and stuff, correct?
Here, let me show you guys. Hold on real quick. Just let me show you this real quick. This is the outreach program. Okay, these are the doulas and midwives. Here's New York. We got so I've got these separated into 1 and 2. So this should be the first one is Lee's list.
Okay, so we don't have the same list, just making sure.
Well, you shouldn't. I want to make sure that
Okay.
your list says, because I gave you a list. I gave you this web form list a long time ago, and now you're down to this one, which says web form 1, and then Bentley's doing web form 2. And let's just keep. I want to keep that consistent as possible, right? And then I want to keep that as much as like try to let's just keep that so we don't have to like readjust this every time as much as possible. So let's just but again, we have to shuffle it around because we've had people drop off, we had people come on, so those things kind of are going to happen. And then also it's kind of like sometimes I'll for instance Sarah, a lot of times I'll ask her, hey, I just need you with this, can you help? And she says yeah, and she jumps on it, whatever it is, right? So but like as far as Lee is concerned, like Lee's already, I don't want her maxed out, right? I sent her the whole web form for the first couple ones, and I mean it was she's super busy, and so it took her a long time, and that's why I was like, we need to get somebody to take some of that pressure off her because it's just too much. You were too effective with your database development there, Lee. So you kind of screwed yourself. I'm just kidding. No, the more we reach, the better, right? That's what we're here for. I'm going to take off this question mark for now. Let's just go with that. And if you guys, if Bentley and Lee, if you struggle with that list, let me know, right? Or let Scott know. Scott's running everything. So try to, like imagine you're in a company, in a business. You're going to communicate with your immediate supervisor first, and then if you have to go to the further, not that we're supervisors, we're just organizers. So you're going to go to the immediate person, Scott, and then come to me if you have any questions beyond that. So if Scott can't answer any questions, or Scott's busy or whatever, don't be shy to contact me at all. But try to contact Scott first. But again, if Scott's busy, if he's like loaded up or whatever and can't get back with you, feel free to contact me. Me and Scott are in contact a lot. Let's see. I had Jay Nelson on Florida. We need to talk to Jay. We need to see where James is at. I think James is on Missouri. Did you talk to James, right, Scott?
James Dow. Yes.
He's on Missouri.
Yeah.
James Dow is on Missouri.
No. Patricia Jordan. Wait a minute. That's for me. Let me see here. Missouri. Yes, with Patricia Jordan. So yeah. No.
Well, you only need one on Missouri. Missouri's not that big.
Well, Patricia was already there. I didn't put her on that one, and James.
Oh yeah, see all these right here. These were all like, these are doulas and midwives. So this is different. So I would have Patricia on the doulas and midwives because, to be honest with you guys, because women are more likely to have contact or connect with doulas and midwives. It's a very woman-dominated career field, and there's nothing wrong. I'm sure there's male doulas. There's nothing against that. It's just it just might be easier for them to communicate with midwives and doulas because they're women, right? And obviously, midwives and doulas are dealing with women. So having a woman communicate with them, I think, is whatever. I mean, it's and maybe, I don't know, if somebody wants to change that, if someone has a difference of opinion, they could definitely,
Oh yeah. So hey, Daniel, looks like it didn't update on your program.
Well, yeah, you haven't sent me the new one. So if you've adjusted it, you have to send it to me.
Oh, I had to eat one. Okay.
Do you want to share your screen and pull up yours, and then I can fix mine based off of yours?
I can do like a quick turn the camera on my phone and then show you my computer. I can do that for you.
Okay.
That would work. Let's see. Here you see. Okay. Is it? There we go. I know lighting's not very good, but so I put Sarah on Florida. I can't get rid of that question mark.
You know the little X up to the left, the top left. There's a little red X all the way at the top. You highlight that. You highlight that node, and you hit the X right at the very top of all of those little icons. On the left side of your screen, you have all the icons.
Well, I'm trying to highlight the question mark, but I can't.
No, you can't highlight the question mark. You just highlight. You just okay. See how you're typing? You need to get off that. You just need to select it. You're in type mode. You need to be in just select mode. So click off of it and then click back on it.
Okay, like this. No, you said click.
No, just click off it. Now click back. Now it's already selected. You see how it's got a darker tone around it. Now just go to the top left and hit the X button at the very top. Move the phone over to the left side of the screen. Right there. You see that X?
It worked.
Hit that X.
We got
and
it.
it's gone.
Got it.
Now you can add in any additional icons.
Okay, I pushed the save icon. I don't know if it's saving or what because it doesn't do anything.
Hey, Control S and it'll save.
Well, yeah, I just was clicking the save button, but nothing happened. Okay, I think we got it. Okay.
Yeah, if you save it, if it's not saved, it'll have a star at the top in the tab.
Yeah.
At the top of the tab for that little mind map, I guess you would call it, or outline or whatever. And then it'll have, as soon as you hit Control S, that star will go away, meaning that it's saved.
Okay. Did you see the rest? You saw.
You know what? I'm just gonna have you text that to me. I don't really want to organize this right now, but I'll have you text that to me. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen again. And so, anyways, we really, I really want to get a solid on email 3, like get it all sent. Hey Lee, did you finish? You finished New York, right? So I can put this as finished, right? For email 2.
Yes, 2 is finished. Email, I just started 3.
Okay, so watch this. This is how I do it, Scott. You see that X? I'm going to hit that X. Now I'm going to hit the checkbox. Now I can take the this one off here of New York, and I can put the check mark there. Now we've gotten that, and I think we've done. We might need to talk to James and see if he completed Arkansas for email 2. But other than that, I think we need to do that. And what I'll do is I'm going to do the character and word limits. Hey Scott, what was confusing you? Okay, and just so everybody here knows is that the email, the URLs that you're getting have no limits to the text, right? So if you were to show up on this web form and you had 3,000 characters of text and you type it in there and it only takes 1,000 characters of text and 2/3 of your shit is cut off, you know, you don't want to send 2/3 of a written thing and it's cut off in the middle, right? You know, then you have to rely on them to go up and click the URL at the top, which opens up the MailChimp send of that email, which is what that URL is at the top of those emails. So we don't want to have to rely on that. So what I do is I cut down. I'll take the document and I'll start removing the stuff as much as I can to start to shorten it. And I go through it and in each stages. For instance, when I get to 1,500 words, I'll save it. Okay, and then I'll write 1,500 words. Then when I get to 5,500 words, I'll save it at 500 words. And I'll get to 250 words, I'll save it at 250. What I try to do is I try to remove as little as possible without it changing the communication of the email. And so then I have a list of I take those web forms that are limited and I put them in a let me just show you this. This might make sense to you a little bit more, Scott, as to why, because I sent Scott the whole damn thing. I didn't take the time to remove these, and so he was really confused as to what email to send. I think he ended up sending a bunch of them to Patricia, and she's like, "What do I do with all this?" And I was like, "Oh no, it's not. That's not all for you." But let me show you. I guess based off of email 1. So here's email 1, and you can see. Look at that, right? I got Spanish, Korean, German, Danish. I got 5,000, 4,500, 4,000 characters, 3,000, 2,100. So all these different. These are all the same documents, but these are broken down. So this is the one that you're going to send, Scott, the email full, right? This is the first email. That's the full one. That's got every bit of text that I typed, right? Okay, I don't really need to open that. Okay. Anyways, so these are all broken down, but all you're going to send to our volunteers, everybody that's doing this, because a large majority of these don't have limits, right? There's only a few that have limits. So the large majority of people is just going to send this. I'm going to be responsible for sending all these character and words limits. So this looks way complex. It's really not. It's really simple. But the email you should be getting is the full email every time. You're not going to get a limited email, okay? So anybody that's helping us out or that's listening in here, all of you guys are only going to be responsible for the web forms that have no limits, okay? Okay, so if you go here to email to, I think I did this one too. You see that same thing. I broke it up into limits and all that kind of stuff. Now there's a I'll show you the documents that I web forms with limits. This is the one that I'm going to be doing. No one's going to be doing it. I just want you to know that it's there. Okay, so for instance, these are all the 5,000 characters or less. Let's see. Why is this not open? Oh, okay, it's doing this. All right, now they're all opening. Okay. So this is Duels and Midwives in New York 1. Okay, so this is what Lee's getting. So Lee, you should have like, you have 90. Lee organized this so beautifully. Maybe I should have you organize all these, Lee, but look how nice this is. It's actually numbered and everything. So this is the only one you should be getting, Lee, is this document. Okay. Now, and I know I'm kind of all over the place. When you're doing this, when you come across URLs that are not functional, okay, all you're going to do is you're going to save those in a separate document, and then you're when you're done with sending everything, you're going to send those ones that didn't work to me. Okay, what I'm going to do, or Scott, once Scott's comfortable doing this, we're going to go through and we're going to go to that website. We're going to have a procedure. So we're going to try to open it up and see if it works for us. Look around to see if maybe the web form is hidden somewhere, that you missed, right? We're going to look for that just to double check, just to cover our bases. Can't find it. We're going to go to the original page of the website, and we're going to see if the URL has changed, right? Sometimes they're under comment sections, sometimes they're under about us sections, whatever. So maybe they changed the web form location on the website. So we're going to find that out. If we get that new URL, what we do is we send it. Okay, we send that campaign to that URL if we find it, and then that's completed, right? And then what we do is we re-update both the database on Google Docs and the page that we're going to send you the next time. We update that, okay, and then we send you that new updated page, right? The next time you fill these out. So if you are doing this and you've gone through and you found these URLs, and I may have missed things, I'm swamped, and I apologize. Like, I have dropped the ball too numerous times to count. But so if I did that, if you sent them to me and I missed it, resend it to me, just, knock me on the, hey, Dan, fix this, and then let me know, and then I'll do it again. Okay. So you're going to get these lists, right? So if you start noticing, hey, I still have these web forms that aren't working, copy them, send them to me, just let me know. Okay. So we want to make sure that these are all URLs that are working, because we want to create effectiveness and efficiency. And this is one of the reasons why I don't want, if you find one that's not working, I don't want you going and searching for the new one. I don't want you, going and doing a Google search, because that breaks your concentration. I want you, bam, click, 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 send, click, 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 send, click, 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 send, click, click, click. Okay, I'm done. That's what I want you doing. And if you find one that doesn't work, you say, okay, copy, paste over here, and then continue, right? Because now your rhythm's not broken, right? You're going to maintain your effectiveness and efficiency. What we're going to do is we're going to go do the research for you, and then we're going to update it. And we're going to update the database. We're going to update the web form that we're going to send you. We're going to send you the new updated web form. So the next time you do the same thing, if you're going to be the person that's doing it, you're going to have the updated database. So you're not having to deal with having to go back through there. And then if we can find a new URL on the same website, like let's say they've changed the URL, then we can update it, put that in that new document, and then send it to you. So the next time you don't have that problem, right? Sometimes some of these outlets are, they may go out of business, right? And that's happening a lot because of COVID. So they may go out of business, and then we're just going to erase it completely. We can't find anything. We're going to, Another thing that we're going to do when we're trying to update when we get these back from you is we're going to try to find, we're going to Google the actual agency itself and see if they've changed websites. Maybe that's happened. Okay. So we're going to do all we can to find a new updated URL that we can then include in that database that we're going to send to you. Anybody have any questions? I know it's a very simple concept, but I sometimes get complex when I'm trying to explain things. It's kind of, but if anybody has any questions, just let me know. Okay, but anyways.
Are you saying like we're going to go to the website and we're going to look to see if there's links to another web form, because that may have changed?
Me and you, Scott, because we're organizing this, but nobody else.
That's what I meant.
Right.
That's what, yeah.
Nobody else. I want them knowing the procedure so they know that, hey, we're not just throwing these away. These are valuable. A lot of times, URLs change, right? So it happens all the time. There's webmasters right now typing away a new URL on some page somewhere, and we probably have it in our database. So we have to update it.
Yeah.
So me and Scott will do that. Scott, and by the time you're doing that, you're going to be I'll cover all the questions. We're going to have a thing written out. Like right now it'll be me, but once you're comfortable with that, then it'll be Scott. Okay. And Scott's going to try to take over these functions because I really want to focus on writing the emails and writing the campaigns, right? I really want to focus on that. So that's why I was like, hey, I need some help organizing this. And, Scott's been, he's been very consistent, and he's like organized, and he asked the right questions. And so he'll be perfect for helping me with this. Scott's been the longest volunteer of NLI, by the way. So he's been helping me with gathering data when we were just, sitting, gathering. I was still doing California. Like, I had 1,200 media outlets in the state of California. It took me like 3 months to just gather the database for California, maybe even a little bit longer. But anyways, so you're gonna get these. This is what you're gonna get. It should be very easy. You click, so let me just show you guys how fast I want this to be. And of course, this depends on the speed of your computer and all that other stuff. I'm going to get rid of, I'm going to put a new tab up here just so we're not using this one. Okay, so let me just kind of show you guys some examples of how fast and easy this should be. Okay, so I'm going to put this up. What I'll do is I'll make this kind of like take up half, like 3/4 of the page. And then I'm going to open up this database right here. Okay, I'm going to put this at the top here. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is, just so you guys can see me doing this, and this is on the video, but I'm just going to click here. Okay, bam. Let's see, it might take a second. And I am slow because I'm using in the world. Come on. You should be active.
Hello.
Actual active.
Hello, y'all. Patrick, this is my second appearance on this.
Patrick, what's up, man?
Well, this is the second time that I participated. The first time I was completely muted, and I did not want to make any real statements or say anything because I listened to you, and you were absolutely flawless. You were up above par on all the stuff.
Well, thank you.
Said, and
we're just right now today. We're just doing organizing. This isn't really like. We're not really like, I want to do a lot of like interviews. In fact, I want to interview Pat Brown. Pat Brown is, Pat was one of like the original protesters for gay rights and
living legend.
Yeah, he's literally a living legend. Pat is one of the most interesting people I've ever met in my entire life. He's like a self-taught Spanish linguist. He knows so much about Spanish that it would blow your mind. I mean, he can tell you all the nuances and the double meanings, all the fun stuff. Pat is fantastic, and I would really love to pick his mind because he explains things in ways that help us to really to wrap our minds around the literal damage that this has caused, like to really fully understand it. I think me communicating with Pat a lot has really helped me when I was beginning Intactivism to understand, how this really literally affects us. And anyways, I really want to do an interview with Pat soon. Today is more like a, kind of like a boring, hey, we're just organizing, we're planning things out and getting ourselves on the same.
I feel that I just opened my tongue and stuck it into a yarn full of knots because I don't understand the stuff I'm talking about.
Right.
But I
You
figured out-
you wouldn't have a clue. So anybody that's just popping on here that hasn't been, that hasn't been helping us with sending these, and Pat's not Pat hasn't been doing this. Yeah. This is probably stuff that I don't know if you're interested in doing, Pat, but I really wouldn't, I would really utilize Pat as a resource for education and stuff like that. And like maybe making some really powerful YouTube videos that I want to in the future. Cause I really want to get Pat's, get him, I've done some interviews with him. And then, unfortunately the phone that I had that on was broken, and I wasn't able to transfer it in time. So I apologize about that, but I definitely want to get Pat on here and do an interview. So Pat, right now, all we're doing is we're going to be sending web forms. I don't know why in the world this is not working. This makes no sense to me. Let me get rid of this.
Web forms. You're going to be sending web forms?
Yeah, we're sending a web form is just it's a connection to an email that is, I'm going to show it to you. Give me 1 second. Let me pop this up here. I don't know why this is not working. Why is this not going? This is so weird. Normally,
Well,
this pop up here.
Separate phone call could.
It might be because we're on Zoom. I'm thinking it's because we're on Zoom, but let me show you this, Pat. Like this is, okay, so here we go. This is childbirth now. Okay, look, we found a URL that's broken, right? Okay, so what do you do with this, Lee? You copy it, you paste it, and you send it to me, right? And I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So this is contact form. This is contact 2, didn't work, right? So what I'm going to do when I get this URL, list of URLs from you. So if you get this URL and it's not working, I don't want you to spend any time. And the reason is maybe you can just pop up here and hit this thing and now you got it. Oh, look at how easy that was. Look at, they just changed the URL. The thing is if you do this and then you go and you say, oh, I got it. Now I can just copy this, paste it over here, and now we're updated. I haven't updated this on our database.
Okay,
right?
Daniel, is it possible that Felix Castillo, the webmaster, could teach me some of the nitty gritty of this stuff you're talking about?
Well, I could definitely teach it to you.
Okay.
But do you have like a laptop you could use? It's
No,
hard
I
to
don't.
do this on a phone.
I'm doing everything on my Apple phone.
Yeah, it's hard to do this on a phone. I wouldn't want anybody to do this on a phone. I mean, you can, but it's just you really kind of need a laptop almost in order to do this, or a desktop. So you need like a computer at home. Maybe it'd be better if I just tune in when you have your monthly. What does NLI stand for? Next Level Intactivism.
Okay, Next Level Intactivism. Well, maybe it'd be better if I just kind of quietly drop in like I did the first time, and just listen to what's going on and see if I can snag some of the information and make it intelligent.
I'd love for you to know what we're doing, because I would like to. The way that you could really benefit us, Pat, is Pat's knows a lot of people in this area. He's very aware of a lot of people that could help us. And I think that maybe that would be a role that you could really help us with, Pat, is helping us get new volunteers who we could help put us on this system. This is a system of outreach to large numbers of highly influential people, right? So
okay, well, I'm trying to figure out what you're saying. That I know these people, or that I know of them?
No, you know a lot of Intactivists. So if you were to help us, your best bet to help us. Okay, so one of the important things of our process, of course. Hey, give me a second, guys. I'll be right back. Hey, Scott, take it away from here. I'll be right back. Just give me a second.
Yeah. All right. So anything we need to talk about? Any questions, anybody?
I'm just listening at this point and trying to figure out what
we're doing?
Yes, I figure out what you're doing. Yeah, and it's like
Okay.
I'm looking at a new. I don't know where the hand is going or where the hand is staying. In the meantime, it's away.
All right. Well, what Daniel was asking you is very much if you can be the recruiter. You know, if you can make calls and you can get people to join us.
Okay, I can do that. It depends upon upon where the party is. I mean, if the party is in, if the party, a party that you want me to refer to the NLI.
Yeah, I mean, look, if they'll help us and they got an internet connection, that's fine. They can be in another country, you know, as long as they can, you know, fit the time into their schedule to send web forms. I would, when Daniel comes back, I'll ask him if there's any other jobs he has for us. Also, to everyone on this call, if you'd
sorry
like
about that. Go ahead,
reach
Scott.
out to the doulas, the midwives for any state. Yeah, just, you know, say what you want, and I can send them out to you. I can send you out the list and put you down on there. We can do that now. So
okay,
yeah.
well, you know who's doing a really good job in the Midwest in Kansas City is Brett Johnson, and this weekend he's going to Oklahoma for the big game there, and he was going to stay with Troy Caswell, but he's going to be staying with somebody else, and he's bringing one of the Intactivist women from Missouri with him, who always goes to these events with her two little sons. So and he's been given a house to do that. So you know, and he's I'm sure he would know how to fit seamlessly into the situation you're talking about now. I have a vague idea of what.
Well, we don't expect Brett to send out web forms, though.
We want Brett. This is what I was going to say to you, Pat. Pat, to be honest with you, I really don't see you sending out web forms. I wouldn't think that would be the best use of your talents. You know, like Paul Settermeyer, who's a sales. I'll give you an example. Paul Settermeyer is a 30-year sales guy, right? And he really understood what we needed to hear to make us effective with our tele-intactivism outreach. So he literally created the foundation of our scripting and our outreach for the script for our tele-intactivism part. Let me just break it down to you in the basic part so you'll kind of understand it, Scott. I'm sorry, Pat. What we do is we have three simple phases. The first phase is we gather the data. So Childbirth Now is an organization that we don't know these people. We went out and found them through the internet. Okay, this is a doula that is in New York. Okay, so this is a Kiana Stevens, RNC, Childbirth Now. She's a doula in New York, right? So we went out and gathered her information. She's got emails, she's got phone numbers, and she's got a web form, right? This is the web form that we're going to be sending her campaigns through to. So we send out educational campaigns. So the first phase is we gather the data, we get all the information to contact these people. The second phase is we write the written words. Right now we have 4 emails written. I know I've been saying I'm going to get the 5th one done, but I'm going to do that really soon. I'm actually been working on that this week. I just had to get that. I had to get that how to do the web form video done so that people that are coming on know how to send the web forms. But I finished that. So the second phase is just sending the campaign, right? And the campaign is the written word. So whatever we write in our campaigns, and we're going to have numerous different campaigns, educational campaigns that we're going to send out. And the last phase is after the campaign is done, we call them, we do what's called, I kind of use a little tele-intactivism. I thought it was kind of catchy name, tele-intactivism, where we call them and we just say, you know, we have a script that we go off of, and then we start our goal with the calls and all that, and all the educational outreach is that we start to develop people that have influence. Okay, these are doulas and midwives, child psychologists, media reporters, anybody that has influence, whether it's a priest or a doula or anybody. You know, you can literally take the same system and reproduce it for any target audience, right? Any target audience you want. Yeah. So whatever target your audience is, like, you know, for instance, I would love to have a political outreach committee. I'd love to have an injury lawyer outreach committee who just go after injury lawyers. I mean, you can go and find thousands of injury lawyers on the internet.
You mean tort lawyers?
Yeah, anybody like that. You know, tort lawyers, whatever. I mean, I'm not really good with law, but like anybody that has influence, right? Judges, you know. Sorry, Pat.
Tort law, T-O-R-T.
You're being a little muffled. I can't hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's T-O-R-T. It's not T-A-R-T, which is an old term for a whore. It's tort. T-O-R-T.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Tort lawyers. Now, see, that would be awesome, right? So So anyways, that's just you develop the target.
For example, Llewellyn, who is the premier Intactivist
I can't hear you.
tort
Can-
attorney in the United
Are you muffled? Are you speak?
States. David Llewellyn in Georgia, who is the premier Intactivist tort lawyer in.
Oh yeah,
in
yeah.
North America.
Well, he's already on board, so we don't really need him to educate. We don't need to educate him. We need to educate
No,
the other lawyers,
us.
right? You know, David Llewellyn could
Yeah.
educate us. We don't need to educate him. He could educate us. What we need is to reach out to those lawyers who don't have this. This is the difference, is that we're going to reach out to people that are unaware of this issue. So our goal is to increase awareness throughout our entire society by reaching the people that have the most influence, right? I mean, we could literally have a whole campaign of going to priests and saying, you know, okay, there's a term in business called leverage, right? And leverage is a way to get to influence, to create influence that you don't originally have, right? So I don't have any influence over this doula. How would I leverage her? Or like a priest, how would I create leverage over a priest? Well, a priest has his own belief systems, right, that he's tied into. I can utilize those belief systems to get him to realize that, hey, you literally have to teach the whole Bible. If you're a Christian, you can't pick and choose what you want to teach out of the Bible. And literally the whole second half of the Bible is about Jesus being the covenant, no longer necessary that you have to cut children, right? Or your slaves, interestingly.
Christ never mentioned anything about circumcision in the Gospels anywhere. He never mentioned it. Never mentioned it. He never
What's that? No,
mentioned it
Jesus.
ever.
No, yeah,
No.
but there's yeah. But the thing is, my point is that there's numerous verses in the Bible that are literally against circumcision, right? That are literally against it. And Paul, the whole thing with Paul is that he the thing that Paul was, he was the one that said, hey, you know, we need to stop shaming these intact men and denying them from being Christian because they're not circumcised. And so Paul was like, no, we need to include everybody. And so that's the whole thing of the whole religion, right? I mean, and so my point is we have a tremendous amount of leverage over these churches, right? Because how many people are literally teaching that as part of their church curriculum? Not very many, right? I never heard of it the whole time I was I was raised in the Lutheran church. My dad never heard of it. When I brought this to my dad, when I first brought this to my family and I said, this is effed up, the first thing my dad said to me, well, it's in the Bible. That's the first thing he said to me. And I was like, well, it's not in the Bible according to the second part of the Bible. Okay. And so, I mean, we have leverage over these preachers because they need to teach the whole Bible. And we could write out a campaign to them, teaching them and educating them on the, not just the religious aspect, but we could teach them how the psychological damage and the pain that the child goes through and the repercussions that it creates in society. We could teach all that. The anatomy, we could teach that to a preacher. And then, but I would first, of course, focus on, if I was writing a campaign for a preacher, I would first start on it. Then my first thing would be like, you need to teach the whole Bible. Okay. Your congregation is unaware that we're not supposed to be circumcising our children. How many circumcised men are in your congregation? Probably 80% of the men in your congregation are circumcised. And if they're Christian, they shouldn't be. Right. And so we need to teach that to them because, that's a point of leverage. So we could write out a whole campaign and a whole series. I mean, you could literally dedicate ourselves, but we need people, we need volunteers that are, and then I want a very strong Christian. Okay? I am not a Christian.
Volunteers, not that. Volunteers
Sorry?
who are volunteers, not that, but volunteers who are scripturally savvy.
Say that again.
I said we need volunteers, not volunteers that are. We need volunteers who are.
Right. Yes.
Savvy. And this means we also need to clean up our grammar because we use the relative pronoun.
See, I told you he's a linguist.
Yeah, we need to use the personal pronoun rather than the relative pronoun.
Right, that makes sense.
People who are a who. So,
yeah. So we need preachers whom are who are educated. But the thing is we're just going to create the system for it. So that's what all this is you go in here, you click on these. I don't know why this is not working. This is the weirdest thing. I think it's because I'm on Zoom. That's the only thing is I think Zoom is somehow blocking these. But and I can show you guys this. But anyways, this is what you do. You go through, you click that, 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 you click that. You scroll down, you click that, you click that, you open up like 20 tabs, right? You got 20 tabs at the top here. You go here. And the first time you're going to have to put this in here, right? You might have to enter your name and then information. Everybody here is pretty much knows how to do this. But mine's already going to be there, right? Then we copy and we paste the information here, and then we send it, right? And that, and then we go on to the next one. So we hit Control W, and we kill that, and we go on to the next one. That's how fast it should go, guys. You should be able to do 90 or so of these, depending upon your internet speed and connection, of course, pretty fast. You know, I'm saying within maybe an hour at the most. Okay, you should be able to knock out a bunch of these. So you should be doing these in maybe 3 or 4 per minute. Okay, so time yourself. If it's taking you a minute to do one, just try to become more effective and efficient, right? So that your time, because what I envision is you get on here, you do this, and then you go do the rest of your life, right? I don't want you spending time after time after time. You know, that's what I'm doing and stuff like that. I'm the one that's going to do that so that you don't have to, right? So, you know, that's my goal is that we can make this so that this is tangible and able for anybody of any, you know, whatever time that they have. Okay, I mean, you kind of need a computer to do this. You kind of need a laptop or a desktop to do this, but it's very hard to do this on the phone. Another thing I was saying, Scott, Pat, I'm so bad with names. Pat, is that your talents are not just in copying and pasting all this stuff. And I'm not saying that that's just, you know, that's the limit of the talents of the people that are doing this, but you're kind of like a leader and an educator. And we could really utilize your help to help us gather more volunteers who can help us do this stuff, who can help us, you know, just do the main bottleneck in our program. Thing that takes the most time, once we've developed the database, of course, the database takes a lot of time to get the database. Once the database is done, and we've already done the database, right? We're almost struggling to reach the database we have now. So adding more right now is the worst thing you could possibly do. I went out and got Pennsylvania because Bloodstained Men was going to Pennsylvania. Okay, and we're going to deal with that next year. Bloodstained Men has 4 different tours, meaning however many states they go to. I don't know how many that is, but I would like to have all of those states completed, right? And we already have 10 of them done. But the only reason I would gather more data right now is 2 things. Pennsylvania
is now a done do?
Yeah, Pennsylvania's done. We got Pennsylvania media. Not, you know, we could do Pennsylvania doulas, we could do Pennsylvania injury lawyers, we could do Pennsylvania, you know, judges and lawyers or whatever. We could do Pennsylvania preachers. You know, there's no limitations. That's what I was saying earlier when I got off track here, is we are I don't know why this is up here. Let me try to get rid of this. Hold on one second. Okay, let me kill this. Okay, so this is the email that and Pat, just bear with me for a second. I want to get back to you, but I just want to finish this so that everybody's kind of like finishes this email, because I get distracted. You guys start putting things out there, and then I go on tangents, and then I go off the rail. And I want to get back to what I was doing real quick, and then we're gonna get. Don't leave us, Pat. I want to talk to you a little bit.
I'm just hanging in there.
Yeah, we're almost done with this. But just so you know, Pat, this is, and I'm glad you asked, because I really want you to understand what we're doing. I think, Pat, if you understand what we're doing and you see how effective and efficient this is, you're going to be like, hey, let's get some new volunteers, and you're going to be calling people, and you're going to be saying, look, there's a new thing going on. And that's what this is. This is a new thing going on. This is the newest, latest, greatest thing in Intactivism, right? And just because we made it that way, because we realized that there was some inefficiencies and ineffectiveness in our movement. We realized there's a lack of organization. There was a lack of volunteer opportunities. And so we went out there and we created this. We created volunteer opportunities. We created, and you guys can see this. You could take this same system, like I said, and put this anywhere. Okay, so let me get back to this email. Okay, so we are going to save hundreds, even, okay, let me go back. Damn, sometimes I press the wrong button. I need to get a mouse. Okay. Where was I? The babies you will save through our program won't be saved without you. What I mean by that is, you can see right now already with the databases we have 10 different states. Okay, we have 10 different states. We have a large database of doulas and midwives in New York and California, and we have a pretty decent one in Missouri and Wisconsin. We also have a large parenting group database, right? And then we have some miscellaneous, a pretty large database of miscellaneous stuff with various people that might be valuable to talk to. Anyways, so the more volunteers that we get, the more communication we can do. The more communication we can do, the more babies we save. So the babies that you are going to save by doing this would not have been saved if you weren't doing this. And that's very powerful. I want you guys to think about that. Just because you're doing this, you're going to save hundreds, thousands, maybe even more. Our goal is to literally change society. Okay, that's our goal, is to literally change society. But however much ability we have to do that, right? Within our own potential. So we want our potential, we wanted to increase our potential. And this is what we're doing with this. Okay, so these babies, and this is so important to also think about. And I know you guys have all heard of the multi-level marketing spiel. Your friend that hasn't talked to you in a long time gives you a call and says, and you're like, oh, great, Bob's calling me. I haven't talked to Bob. And so, oh, it's so cool, Bob. I'm so glad he contacted me. We haven't really had a conversation so long. I'm so glad Bob is just out of the kindness of his heart, just thought about me and is calling me. And the first thing out of Bob's mouth is, I have a great opportunity for you. And immediately you go, shit, God damn, I got suckered in this phone call because I thought Bob was calling me to say hi. And now Bob's just being a dick, trying to make money off me. And that's why Bob's calling me as an ulterior motive. He didn't care about me. He just got wrapped up in some bullshit multi-level marketing thing. And now I have to tell him, no, I don't really want to go sell Kirby vacuum cleaners or acai berries or anything like that. I've got, other things to do in my life. But that multi-level marketing type of thing, if you imagine that being successful, right? Let's say you get one new volunteer who jumps on this, and that volunteer is responsible for saving 500 babies. Okay, so all the work that volunteer goes and puts in, okay, that would not have happened if it weren't for you, right? So say you get that volunteer, he jumps on this, he saves 500 babies. All you had to do to get that volunteer, and this starts to sound like a multi-level marketing scheme, right? Is you have to get that one volunteer, right? That's all you had to do is get one volunteer. You just saved 500 babies, or you just part of a chain that saved 500 babies, right? But that volunteer has his own time, his own schedule, and the ability, they care enough that they're going to be involved. So they jump on because they care, right? And we're going to take that advantage of that for our own value, right? I'm just kidding. We're not making money off this. We're doing this for a better purpose, for a higher purpose. But anyway, so anybody that you can get involved in this, that saves babies, that helps us with sending these web forms, that helps us with gathering database. I would really love to find new leaders who say, I want to take over this subject, right? And like, for instance, I did have some guy that was going to take over the churches. I had another guy that was going to take over the universities. Both of those kind of petered out, right? You get a lot of people that have really good intentions, and then when it comes down to doing the work and being committed and following through, it's not so much, right? And that's just what we have to deal with. And that's why we have the 4 people or 5 people or 6 people that are super dedicated showing up all the time on these phone calls, right? Because you guys are committed and dedicated. So we're looking for new yous. We don't want somebody that's going to come on here and say, hey, I'll do this, and then they don't do it, right? I ended up gathering this huge database and going and organizing this church database for this person that was going to do the churches, but they ended up not following through. And, for whatever reason, there are Intactivists. I'm not talking bad about them. Things happen in our lives, right? So, things happen that derail us and that take precedence over our volunteer work, because, obviously we have to survive and take care of ourselves. But anyways, we really want to find the people that are going to be consistent and follow through. So, and that's, it's not as easy as we would like it to be. But anyways, I know, Pat, a lot of people in this area, and probably the best benefit for you would be
you mean California or the Midwest or where?
Any Intactivist that that would be a good candidate for us to help us with this volunteer work is somebody I would love for you to reach out to, because
my guess is that it would be an Intactivist who has,
I can't hear you, Pat. I don't know why the phone is
Yeah, Intactivist who has cyber skills.
Well,
See,
I
my
mean,
big flaw is cyber skills.
this is Pat. I mean, Pat, you don't have to have a lot of skills to do this. You have to have the right equipment, really. I mean, I could teach you how to do this really easily. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Your brain is far beyond this, my brother. Pat, you're probably one of the most intelligent people I've ever met. But no, you could easily figure this out. I mean, this is like a no-brainer. You click here, you click a few clicks, and then you hit send. You may have to answer a CAPTCHA, which is like, you know, it may ask you like a couple questions that you may have to answer, or you have to put in, 2 + 2 is equal to what?
Let me
What's that?
illustrate something here. Let me illustrate something here, and it was a great big lesson for me about 2 years ago. I went into People's Food in Ocean Beach, and I ended up going. I went to the deli, and I went to the community room, and there was a woman there in the community room by herself with a little boy in a high chair, and he was making a huge mess. And I looked at her and I said, "Oh, they're all monkeys till they're 15." She shrugged her shoulders and said, "Yes, I know." And I said, "Well, otherwise, is he easy? Is he breastfeeding?" She said, "Oh yeah, he's breastfeeding." So that was an opener for me. And I said, "Well, how old is he?" She said, "Oh, he's just a year old." And I said, "Do you have any other kids?" She said, "Yes, I have a daughter a couple of years older than he." I said, "Well, did she breastfeed?" She said, "Oh yeah, I breastfed her until recently, and then I gave up because I was breastfeeding him." And I said, "Oh, okay. So did your daughter have any trouble breastfeeding?" She said, "No, she breastfed right from the very start." I said, "Well, what about the little boy?" She said, "It took me about 10 days or 2 weeks to get him to breastfeed." And I looked at her and I quietly said, "You didn't have him cut, did you?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "It's the number 2 cause of breastfeeding failure." And I never gave her a leaflet. I never said anything, but I left her glum to think about it. And unfortunately, we tend to go after people and chase them down and nail them and then give them a lecture on top of it. This is something we have to learn not to do.
Right.
Now,
Well, I mean,
and this applies to when we're doing web work, when we're getting people to do things that we've put on our web that you're talking about, and this is something that I have the skill to do on a social level, but on a cyber level, I really don't.
well, see, Scott, I keep saying that, Pat. The stuff that we're doing is completely different from that. So it's literally all those types of concerns are answered by what we're doing. And this is why one of the reasons what we're doing is so powerful, because a lot of the interactions that people are having on social media or even out there in the protest world or in places where somebody is already cut, like for instance, a mother who's already cut like that, they're not going to be extremely positive, super positive. They're not going to leave there with a great feeling in your gut that you accomplished something. It's just kind of like it almost, I mean, me being blocked off social media.
I didn't try to change her. I know because I didn't push her that she will find out on her own, and that's the best way to do it.
Oh no, that's great. But the thing is this process that we're doing is complete. It's going to be very different than that, because we're sending out campaigns, and then when we do contact them, when we do the tele-intactivism phone calls, the first stage is a survey, and it's a very limited survey. We ask them questions and we just get them talking. Okay. And then the goal of that call is like maybe 10 or 15 minutes. And then you move on to the next one.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see the survey that you struck.
I'll show you too. I'll show it to you. Let me just finish this real quick, and then I'm going to get back to you on that one, Pat. Let me just finish this. Okay. So we are going to save hundreds, even thousands of babies through our programs. We are planting seeds Intactivism needs at the time as time exposes all truth. Imagine the long term with this program. Imagine and think about this, having conversations after our 3rd campaign with people who have already read every email we have sent and have had 2 previous positive phone calls with. This will change an important number of professional, educated people to our cause. It's a numbers game, and we will help you every step of the way. So included here is the email to copy and paste, okay? The links to the contact form documents. The contact form is this document over here, okay? And images to include when allowed, okay? Images are like sometimes in the contact forms you can add an image. And so these are the images that you're going to include with this contact form, okay? So we've got, this is the new research at Harvard, so psychological harms of circumcision lasts a lifetime of female, anyways, and this is the Washington Online Contact Forms, right? So this is the Washington media. So whoever got this email is going to send to
Washington, DC or Washington State?
what's that?
Is this DC or Washington State?
Washington State. That's the Washington State media. Washington State is one of our 10 media outlets that we've completely gotten the whole state for. So almost every outlet of Washington, every media outlet, every data, every reporter, every publisher, every editor that we have access to from the internet is literally in this in our database. This right here is just the online contact form. That's the web forms. I called them online contact forms. They're web forms. So I call them web forms just to make it simpler instead of saying online contact forms. Web forms
Checker plugged into this. Is Sky Checker plugged into this also?
What's that?
Is Guy Checker, the attorney and doctor, is he plugged into this also?
I don't think he's see, like, I don't really, what I'm looking for right now is he's already super busy. I mean, he could help us by I don't know how he would really literally help us, you know. He could help us by doing like a educational, you know, like maybe doing an interview with us and putting that on YouTube. But as far as like him doing database, him doing this type of stuff, I really doubt it. We want someone like that doing their work. You know, he's already literally dedicated his life to doing work on this. So we don't want him pulling away from what he's doing to do this. We want to use our skills effectively and efficiently. So for instance, with Paul Settlemeyer, his skill was he didn't have a lot of time to commit to doing web form sending or database. Paul Settlemeyer, he's a sales he's a salesman. He runs a sales department. He just recently got a new job and he's super busy, working like 70 hours a week. But what Paul was able to do for us was he was able to coach us on the script, the phone script. And so he was the one that helped us to really develop our phone script, the Intactivism part, which is phase 3, right? We developed the database, we contact them through the written word, and then we contact them through the phone. Excuse me. So Paul was highly influential in our script writing. So Paul, I wanted to use Paul's skills, not for sending out contact web forms, which he could have done with that hour that he had. But instead of that, what he did with that hour was he gave us the knowledge that we needed to become better at what we're doing. So someone like Geisner or Dr. or I think he's a lawyer, or you know, like, you know, these guys are already doing stuff. What we could literally do, I'm sorry, you know, like, I mean, we could create an outreach to doctors and he could be part of that. He could write something for that. What I would see you doing, Pat, is not doing this web form, just because we got people that are doing that. And I just don't see this being the most valuable part of your time. What I would like to do is sit down with you and write a list of people that we could try to get involved in this, who are not really doing something right now. Okay, so they aren't active. They don't really have, you know, I mean, I don't want to take, you know, Georgianne away from doing Intact America, right? And all the things that she's doing there, right? I'm sure her day is super busy, right? I don't want her sending web forms. I want her doing Intact America. I don't want Pat Brown doing web forms. I want you helping me gather, you have a vast knowledge of you have a lot of connections of people that would help us, you know, that could be involved in this. I mean, we're not looking for everybody. We're looking for people that will literally follow through with sending these web forms. And that's, it's usually, out of 100 people, you're just talking about 2 or 3 people out of 100. So we are looking for volunteers that can help us with this, but anybody that becomes involved, we want to maximize their skills and potential, right? So, my best skill with us is not me sending these web forms. It's going to be me writing out the campaigns and stuff. Okay, so that's going to be my best skill, right? And so I need to be writing out those campaigns. That's why I'm trying to get people to help me with sending these web forms, because these web forms are such a huge, important part of our program that if they're not being sent, then there's no reason for me to write campaigns, right? There's no point in me writing campaigns if they're not being sent, right? We got the data. There's no point in us developing the database if we don't have the web form sent, right? So all that work we put into the database is worthless unless we actually pull the trigger. And the web forms is pulling the trigger. Sending the emails is pulling the trigger. Doing the Intactivism phone calls is pulling the trigger. Another thing to think about is some people might be very good at doing phone calls and not so good at sending web forms, right? You know, they're just, maybe they're just, ADD and they just can't sit still, but they're really good on the phone. And we put them, we give them a whole bunch of phone numbers.
That's my forte, is the phone. That is my
Exactly,
forte.
right? We could use you on the third phase. You have a phone call. I mean, so there's nobody should be excluded from this. Everybody that has some sort of skill or talent, or the ability to do the web forms or whatever it is. I mean, that our need right now is web forms, right? That's our bottleneck. The emails are going to be super fast and easy. I have to reset up the Mautic system that we had before, but we've already done it before. We're going to have a new one set up really soon. And then once that Mautic system is set up, we're going to start running emails through the Mautic system. That will be already automatic, right? So that's going to be easy. Any new emails that go into that Mautic system will be taken care of. It's going to be super easy. But the web forms, these ones, somebody has to go in and click these and copy and paste the emails into those web forms. Now, here's why this is so important, because these web forms bypass spam filters, right? A big part of our issue is we're gathering emails from people that are not asking for these emails, okay? And CAN spam, which is the CAN spam is the rules and the system set up to stop spammers, to prevent spammers from inundating our web emails with so much spam that we can't get normal emails, right? That's the goal of CAN spam. So CAN spam itself, if we're seen as spammers, is going to limit our ability to reach out to our list, right? So we have to be very wary of this. Well, the web forms are always going to go through. They go right past any of that. They're going to go right into their email. So no matter what, they're going to get our email. So that's why the web forms are so important and such an important part of our program. So phase one, we gather the database, and what we're gathering is the web forms, the emails, and the phone numbers, right? And those relate directly to those three targets. So we get the web forms and the emails for phase two, okay? And then we get their phone numbers for phase three. Well, sometimes we might only have an email, or we might only have a web form. We might not have a phone number, right? So we just get the web form and the email, and that's the limit of our reachability to that person, okay? But so what? They're still in the system, and they still will have the opportunity to get this information. Okay, so anyways, does anybody have any questions on that? There is, like I said, there's this video right here, and Pat, I might have you watch this video, because I can send this to you and you can watch this and you can kind of just see the process, because it's very simple. It's very easy.
You could send it to me separately from the program, because I will get bogged down in showing me.
I'll text it to you. You can watch it on your phone. And it just shows you. I mean, it's you don't have to watch the whole thing, to be honest with you. I might even send you the. There's a video on here. Let me show you guys this real quick. I'm going to show you guys this email or this video, which is one of my favorite videos, because it's me sending to the parenting group, and it's at a fast pace. So let me pull it up. Here it is. Web form sending. It's 13 minutes.
Remember that I'm not part of the video.
Oh, you're not. You can't see this.
No, I can't see it. No.
Okay, you can't see this, huh, Pat?
No.
I'll send this to you, because I think everybody on here has watched that, right? Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I'm doing something wrong. Let me. Okay, if you guys haven't seen this this video, I've got 148 views on it. It's pretty fantastic. This is me sending a whole bunch of web forms in 13 minutes, and these are this goes just to show you how powerful, because all of these, look at Harmony Family Center. I'm just gonna scroll through this and I'll just read them to you. Hold on, let me see. This is. I needed to be able to see the top. U.S. UN Audio Visual Library. Okay, right? So these are parenting groups and child psychologists. Oh, damn, it's not really just. Let me just play it a little bit. Birthing Stone. I'm going to turn the volume down. So Birthing Stone is a parenting group. Let's see, this is community, parent partners, and parenting. These are just a bunch of parenting groups that we've sent. Healthy Mind Innovations. Healthy Minds, Child Development, Infant Child Development. I didn't get the name of the organization, but you can see how these are just going out to large numbers. Birth injury guide, UN, United Nations. There's a CAPTCHA I answered. It's just a huge number of people that need to hear this, right? Okay, so why are we not reaching out to these people? The information's on the internet. You know, this is why we're doing this, right? So this goes to just show you why we're doing it. So this is clients in the Bay Area for an additional fee. This is another doula. Okay, so all of these people are getting our data. They're getting this high value targets. I mean, these campaigns. And just so you know, the campaign, the first campaign is FGM to MGM. And what it does, it connects FGM to MGM. The second campaign is the anatomy, structure, and function. Third campaign is probably gonna be the psychological damage and the harm. The fourth campaign is gonna be the history and the medical excuses. The fifth campaign will probably be the men's stories, and men do complain. And I'm gonna have a whole bunch of men that wanna write their own stories. We can do videos, we can send out emails, all kinds of different stuff. And then of course there's other things such as sending out the Intact America's doctor solicitation study, the recent study on Canada of the like 56,000 people to show that the HIV has, you know, that circumcision has no influence on HIV. That's a recent study. You know, that's the other things that we're going to get into sending to this same list. And it's just an ongoing, continual, never-ending campaign.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I'd really like to see it.
Yeah, I'm going to send that to you. I'm going to send this one to you because this one right here where we're sending the web forms, Pat, you're going to love this. I mean, it's going to give you a stiffy. It's fantastic. It's just I mean, this is what needs to be done to end this, right? I mean, we need to reach out to these people that are influential. You know, parenting groups, influential. Doulas and midwives, influential. Child psychologists, influential. Injury lawyers. You know, that's kind of like maybe you know, we're right now focusing on our first tier target audience. The injury lawyers, politicians, and all those others might be more of a second tier or even third tier target audience.
Daniel, again, please change your diction on that. Do not call them injury lawyers. It makes you sound unprofessional. Use the language they use for themselves. Tort lawyers, T-O-R-T.
Tort lawyer. Okay, so tort lawyer is an injury lawyer. I thought you were talking about a specific type of lawyer. Okay, that's good. I did not know that. So I didn't know that term. So a tort lawyer. Well, I mean, most people aren't going to understand that. So right now, when I'm speaking to everybody here, I want them to understand that the reason why I'm saying this is I'm not saying that injury lawyers need some sort of special respect or something. When we do talk to them, of course they do. But what I'm saying is that I want the greediest motherfucker who doesn't give a shit about children to care about profit and to see that there are some dollar signs in the largest medical fraud in human history, and that the class action lawsuits that can come from this are fantastically enormous, and the profits that can be garnered from this are fantastically enormous. So I want tort lawyers who get that, right? Tort lawyers who are just greedy bastards who just want money. And I want them to see, hey, you know, I need to start influencing the judges in the system and start to manipulate our laws and our system so that we can start to make this possibility of the largest class action lawsuit in human history likely, right? This is the biggest medical fraud in human history. This is the 80% of Americans. I mean, that's, you know, there's nothing close to that in any other injury. I mean, no, there's nothing for any injury lawyer that comes close to that, right? The injury lawyers that are going to be involved at the time when this finally becomes available, when it actually becomes, this is why I was saying they're a third tier, because until we change the culture, the injury lawyers probably are not going to be that have that much ability to do anything about this, right? You know, because the judges, you know, that they have to get on board with this. The society has to get on board with this, at least to some extent. They say that the laws reflect the morality of the society of the time. And, you know, you can look at, you know, Jim Crow laws and slavery laws to see that, you know, that the laws reflect the morality at the time. So we need to change the morality. And so this is why doulas and midwives, media outlets and, lawyers, I'm sorry, not lawyers, reporters and those types of things are the people that we need to really target, you know, and maybe even, you know, for instance, another, maybe what we consider a first tier, which would be, you know, someone that we could contact would be Southwestern politicians, right? And why would I choose Southwestern politicians? Well, in particular, Hispanic politicians. Why Hispanic politicians? Because they're targeting the Hispanic people, right? The doctors are seeing new revenue signs, new dollar signs on the genitals of Mexican Hispanic babies that are coming in from the South, right? So that would be a first tier person, because that's somebody that's probably immediately interested in this issue, right? Who can literally start to activate laws, or you know, at least become aware. I don't know. I mean, we're literally trying to change a culture, and it's, you know, it's like trying to redirect the direction of the moon or something like that. You know, I mean, it's going to take, you know, some, you know, atomic bombs to literally do that. So and it's literally going to take some years and some really dedicated people to do this. And so, but I think this is the most effective, powerful way to do this. And I think this is the only way to do this. I don't think there's any other way. I don't think having an organization, Intactivist organization with a website online that goes and promotes at parenting, you know, at the occasional, you know, parenting conference that comes through, or maybe does a protest on, every once in a while, right? Groups like Bloodstained Men, a group like cockfight.org with Brett Johnson, those two are gonna be influential in this. But then you add us to that equation, because okay, the Bloodstained Men were averaging maybe, you know, you can go to any campaign in their past, you know, choose a time when they went on a campaign. I've done this. I think I did a couple of their past campaigns, and I looked and I researched how many news articles did they get written that were published during that campaign. And at most, I would see 2 or 3, maybe 5 at the most. Okay, that's at the most. Why? Because the Bloodstained Men's media outreach consists of sending out a press release to the popular media in that area, right? Well, what does that press release go into? It goes to an email that's full of other emails, right? And they might not even see it. I've talked to so many people that I know the Bloodstained Men have sent emails to, but they didn't even know it was happening, right?
I know we've discussed this before, and I tried to tell you, but particularly I tried to tell Scott White that it's really important to curry favor with the news reporters of the local TV stations. It means you get to know them, you go to lunch with them, you find out what their birthday is, how many kids they have, and then you build on that.
Exactly. And that's what we're trying to do, Pat. That's exactly what we're trying to do. And that's what this whole program is really geared to do, because okay, we send the written emails. We sent that through phase 2, which is sending the written stuff, right? All the written stuff. Then we follow with the phone calls, and that phone call is where we get our chance to develop that relationship. And that's why with that phone call, what I'm trying to do is establish a connection and you know, just to see if they've read the campaign. If they haven't, to ask them to read the campaign, and then we can call them back at a later time. But to literally start creating notes, and we'll get into this when we get into I'm actually going to create videos on how to cultivate the relationship with these people of your target audience, right? And so we'll have videos on that. I'm literally going to have a page on my website that is geared towards nothing but Intactivists, making Intactivists more influential and effective at what they're doing. Okay, so we're going to do the script. We're going to have a script, a video on the script. We're going to have a video on all this stuff, and then we're going to have a web page that gives the Intactivists, hey, whatever level of knowledge that you need to, this is a video. Like this video I just recently did, this video on this one right here on web form sending, on how to do the web form. This is how to send web form campaigns. So this will be one of the major videos on that website, on that page. So as we're getting into, this is part of phase 2. You know, this is probably the main video is on phase 2. I'm going to have this one, and of course this one that shows me doing it. Okay, this one right here is NLI Outreach Intactivism web form send to parenting groups and child groups final. Okay, so this is me sending them, right? And then this one is how to do it and how to send. We're gonna have these 2 videos on that page, so that we're gonna give all the Intactivists the education they need so that they can create these systems to utilize what Pat's expert advice is, right? So the expert advice of developing relationship with these reporters. Well, bloodstained men and them were getting 3 to 5, articles printed per tour. Okay. The last 2 tours that we did, that the bloodstained men did, were 15 and 20. So the Southern College tour, they had 20 articles printed. The Pennsylvania tour, the Southern College tour, they had 15 articles printed. The Pennsylvania one that just recently finished, we got 20 articles printed in major media outlets. To go from 2 to 3, maybe 5 to 20 and 15 is a dramatic increase, right? So what we did, NLI did, was we dramatically increased the effectiveness and efficiency of the bloodstained men, all by ourselves, okay? And this is how you change the culture. This is how you influence the culture. Now, we got bloodstained men doing 4 tours next year. Of how many different states, we have no idea. A lot of these tours, they go from state to state. They don't just stay in one state. I loved how they stayed in Pennsylvania. It made it a lot easier. I wish we had a lot more cohesion with the bloodstained men because, for instance, I would want them to go to towns with lots of reporters so that, as opposed to, they did a couple in the same state of the same surrounding area of Philadelphia. But you know what? I mean, they really, I saw some of the videos and they had a lot of traffic. So, maybe they knew something that we didn't. But the only thing I would encourage them to do,
also remember that Pennsylvania is one of those swing states in the presidential elections. It's one of those swing states. It's a state.
That's very true. That's very true. It is a very important state as far as the electoral college and all that is concerned. So it is a very important, and it's Pennsylvania's got a lot of. It's a fantastic place. I love Pennsylvania. I wouldn't mind living there. But anyways, as far as, does anybody have any questions on what we've covered so far? Everybody kind of understands this. Anybody at all want to ask anything? Okay, cool. So, I mean, I'm pretty much covered what I wanted to cover. That was the main thing. Let me see, was there anything else? I wanted to cover us sending the web forms. I want to make sure that we're all on the same page as far as email 3. Yeah, I think we covered everything. I think anything else would be beating a dead horse. What I would say, Pat, is where you would probably be best for us, if you were to help us, our organization, is helping us outreach to new Intactivism, to new Intactivists, to maybe old Intactivists who have been around for a long time, because Pat knows all of them, and getting them to see.
No, I don't know all of them. I don't know all of them.
No, I mean, you know a lot of them. And getting them to see,
Maybe, how about like Frank? Can you get Frank to help us?
Yeah, we need Frank on this. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. We need. I want to get a lot of people involved. I mean, we had Tina Kimmel on the phone with us recently. She's a fantastic Intactivist. I'd love to get. I mean, it'd be great to get Marilyn Milos on the call with us one day and do an interview with her. I want to create cohesion between us and the other organizations. I don't want there to be rifts. I don't want there. I had some kind of disagreements with the bloodstained men. Whether or not that's recoverable is, remains to be seen. I think that they're going to be, I mean, just the fact that they're getting 20 media articles published at each of, or 15 and 20 published now, that should have an effect on them, on getting them to see the light. But, it's just, we need to get out of this 70s and 60s mindset that the extent of protest is showing up on a street corner. I mean, that's fantastic and great, but we need to utilize the technology that we have today to utilize these websites that people have. I mean, there were no websites in the 70s, right? We have all these websites full of information. We've got emails, we've got web forms, we've got phone numbers directly to people that we could target, right? So we just, this is a no-brainer system. If you think about this, and this is what I did, this is why I created this system, is I was like, where's the, I went to the 15th, when I went to the 15th annual symposium on the child's rights and genital autonomy, it was in what do you call it, in Pennsylvania, not in Pennsylvania, in San Francisco. I met Marilyn Milos, I met John Geisner, I met Georgianne. What's Georgianne's last name? Georgianne or Impact America. I met a lot of these. Anyways, the speakers that were up there were, fantastic. I mean, doctors, lawyers, the people that, of high education, of high, just the cream of the crop when it comes to humanity. Like these are the best of the best when it comes to like spirits and souls, right? Plus they're educated, plus they have these degrees, plus they have, you know, they check off the appeal to authority checkbox, right? Which is literally a flaw of logic. So they check that off, but they cover that. So that's important. You know, it's important that we have these people. But what I noticed was with all this fantastic cream of the crop people, the top of the top in Intactivism, what I noticed was there's very little cohesion between these groups. There's very little organizations. One of the most influential instructors of my life was my political science professor at the College of Southern Nevada in Las Vegas, Nevada. He was, the guy was just—
You mean this is the Southern Campus of the University of Nevada, which is
no, that's called it's called the College of Southern Nevada. It's not connected to UNLV, but it's the College of Southern Nevada. UNLV is the University of Las Vegas, but it's not connected to them or the University of Nevada if there is one. I don't know, but no, it's not connected to anything else. It's the Southern College of Nevada. It's its own college. They have a bachelor program. When I went through it as a community college, but I mean, trust me, guys. I've had some of the best instructors I've ever had at community colleges. Just because you go to an Ivy League or a higher level school does not mean the quality of your instructor is going to be much better. The most influential instructor of my life was my political science instructor, and because he did not just go through the book and fib and just, oh, you know, the United States is the greatest country in the world. This is how you create a law, and this is the 3 branches of government, and this, you know, the separation of power. You know, none of that bullshit. He was like, this is the real deal. This is how it really happened. One of the major things that he communicated to us is that politics, first off, we live in a plutocracy, okay, that it's controlled by the rich, right? And it's a plutocracy means that
oligarchy,
the rich,
right?
Well, it's like an oligarchy, but the plutocracy means that an oligarchy just means you have a number of different people at the top.
The corporations control the wealthy
plutocracy means
corporations control the government.
Corporatocracy. These are all the similar words, but plutocracy means controlled by the rich, right? The people who have the highest amount of money, have the most influence, and have the most power. So that's what a plutocracy means. But what he was saying was, and the point of him saying that is the organization, if you want political power, the most important thing you can do is organize. And he said there's so many people out there that have been very small groups, but they were highly organized and they got their way. And politics is the process by which resources are reallocated in a society. Okay, so politics is not like how you maintain your freedom and somebody watching over and protecting you, like the fire department, the police officers, and all those other people doing their job to protect us. It's not that. It's really literally the reorganization of the resources of society to the most beneficial of those people who can get the most influence in that political system. Okay, so my point of this is that Intactivism is very disorganized. It's very its influence is very minuscule. Okay, it has some glaring, extremely important limitations that we have to understand in order to correct the issue, right? And so that political science instructor literally is probably why we're having these conversations right now, because he really taught me these fundamental basics of understanding that we really need to organize. So when I got there, and I waited to the end of the time, and unfortunately we ran out of time, and we didn't really get to speak our mind, which was unfortunate because but the speakers were fantastic. But I really wanted to say, like, the problem was, and I got my 10 seconds of speech was to say, look, we have no organization. We need organization and cohesion between these groups. And I'm not talking, Marilyn Milo's having a conversation with Blood Brother K. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like integration, where organizations work together to maximize the benefits of each other, right? And this is what I'm trying to do with Bloodstained Men, is I'm trying to maximize the benefits of the Bloodstained Men. Well, what about Intact America? Intact America recently did that study that on the solicitation of doctors, right? And how the average mother that says no to the first circumcision request is then requested 7 more times. So there's 8 times total that the mother is requested to circumcise her son in these hospitals. And that was a very important bit of information. That was a very important study. They literally paid to have somebody do the research from this high quality survey organization.
Put that in one of your emails, in one of the articles you write, put that in one of them.
Exactly. That's my point,
reporters are
Scott.
telling people,
So, but the thing is we're not going to do that until, I mean, if I just sent that out right now, what splash is that going to have? None. Because if I send this to the average person, say, oh, circumcision's a joke. Who cares? Snip of skin, you know, okay, I'm not missing anything. I'm a stud, man. I'm fine. And then they discount that. But if we send them 3 campaigns, and then they understand it's half the surface, 75% of the nerve endings. They know Dr. Sorrells, they know Taylor, Cold, and Lockwood. They know the adverse childhood experiences affect a child for life. Okay, that this is extremely painful and traumatic to the child, no matter if you use the best anesthesia we got out there. And they have this knowledge. Then when we hit them with Intact America's survey, bam, we're going to have an influence. What did Intact America do that survey for? Who was the target? It was a target Intactivists to give us education and to have a state of affairs and understanding of what's going on in these hospitals. So that's what they did it for, and it's extremely valuable. But it's not going to be valuable for us in our target audience until we've done a few campaigns, right? And we've outreached people. We've had a few conversations with these people. You know, I mean, it's just gonna. We have to have this procedure. We have to have an organization to the way we do this. We can't just say, hey, this is a bit of information. That's great. Let's send this out. Okay, that's not going to go anywhere, right? This has to have a system that's designed to break down the walls, to expose the myths of our society, to get ourselves in the door. And that's where the sales techniques come from, where we're asking open-ended questions, where we're not, being confrontational, which is, anybody who knows me that knows my history knows that I tend to be confrontational, because I think that in some scenarios, in some cases, I found a lot of success being confrontational. And what I mean by that is I'll go after somebody. A man say, I'm fine. Oh man, that's the most ridiculously pathetic, thing I've ever heard. You're ignorant. I'm attacking them, right? Why? Because psychologically, when I attack them and then I pull away and then I give them some sort of concession and I say, I doubt you're really a bad person. I just don't think you understand this. And after I've created the conflict, after you're a dick, you're an asshole, and I've created this whole thing, and then we're at each other's throats. And then I say, you know what? You're probably not a bad person. You just don't understand this like I do. Maybe you haven't had the ability. And all of a sudden, you're like, what? What you've done is you've created pressure. You created pressure. This is like, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Aikido. This is the same with Aikido. You create pressure or wrestling, and then you move away. Boom, they have to meet you here, right? So you create pressure. Move back.
I want to make an addendum. I want to make an addendum to what you're talking about. Several years ago, we were picketing at the San Diego Convention Center, and Jonathan Conte was talking to a black woman at the literature table that we'd set up alongside of the picket line. And this was a woman who had just had her little boy circumcised. And she said, he's my son, I'll do what I want with him. And I knew that the conversation, the peaceful, sweet diplomacy that Jonathan Conte was trying to do was not going to go anywhere. And I said, you're a bitch. You're a bitch on motorized wheels. Dare you? You think you can do that to your son? You're a cock-cutting bitch. You hate male sex. And she was just freaked out. Well, I walked away from her. I said, shove it, bitch. And I walked away from her. And a few minutes later, Jonathan Conte went back and sweet talked her. And then she sat down on the lawn and she cried bitterly.
Oh, damn.
But see,
that's exactly what I'm talking about. Now, that type of thing is, if you understand psychology, right, and taking sales courses and psychology and paying attention to it I sold rainbow vacuum cleaners when I was 16 years old, and I was actually successful. All of the other kids and that I tried to get to sell vacuum cleaners to make money with me, nobody else was good at it. I was the only one in my group that was good at it. Because I think just 16, you're just too young for that kind of thing. But I was able to do it.
No, it's not, Daniel. I sold tomatoes to the neighbors when I was
right. Well, you're unique in your
old. I sold tomatoes. My father went to the farmer's market and bought tomatoes, and I sold it to all the neighbors that were
Well, you also happen to be Pat Brown, so the average 16-year-old probably not going to be selling $2,000 vacuum cleaners. But I just realized that I did have that skill, right? I wasn't the best at it. I know that
no, but you do have the gift of the gab.
Somewhat.
get
I mean,
to the depth.
you know, like I definitely have my own mind and I definitely speak it. So in some cases it has been detrimental to me, and in other cases it's been highly beneficial. And then that, you know, having the negative experiences is, you know, and that's what I say to all my volunteers is like, look, if you have a negative experience on the phone, learn from it. And maybe it's not even bad, because maybe that's what was necessary to ruffle the feathers of that person to get them to question themselves. You know, maybe you have to be a little bit forceful. Maybe you have to say you're a cock cutting bitch, and in order to get them to say, wow, like what did I do to deserve that? You know, what really created this?
Flip
You
side
know,
of
maybe
that,
somebody will think a little bit
Don't they
deeper.
have like a name for that? Like the good cop, bad cop or something?
Exactly.
Yeah. oh,
Exactly.
It's called the
Is
character.
that what it's
Yeah.
called or something?
Exactly. It's a push-pull. It's called a push-pull in sales, right? A push-pull in sales, right? I can be confrontational, and then I become unconfrontational. And humans desire, we all desire for our natural desire for conflict is conflict goes up like this. It's just like a story. You have the conflict go up, you have the conflict resolution, and then you come together. That's literally every story that you ever read, right? I mean, just generally. So you have the conflict, you have conflict resolution, and then you have the repercussions of the conflict, right? And you have the everybody coming together. You know, in Star Wars, you have the end ceremony at the end where everybody's like, yeah, Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, da 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 da, you know, and everybody gets together, and you know, the Ewoks are partying and all that kind of stuff, right? So that's what I'm saying is sometimes you have to create a little bit of strife in order to create the conflict, in order to create the resolution. And this is a psychological thing with all humans, right? You know, you're gonna try to, you know, if you're having an argument with somebody and then all of a sudden they concede to you or they give way to you and they say, you know what, you know, I see some value in what you're saying, but you know, maybe or maybe I see this characteristic of you, you know, that shows some sort of value, and recognize that, and all of a sudden it just goes away. I had this girl. I had posts on Instagram. I'm gonna let you guys go real soon because I know we've been talking for too long. But I had this girl on Instagram, and she was like going off on me, telling me I literally cried. I'm sorry, I literally cried when this happened. So I went on this child rescue coalition, and it was saying how, like, you know, how many women and stuff like that. And I said, well, 80% of men are genitally mutilated in our country. You know, we're salted as babies, you know, so, you know, nobody talks about that. So she got the feeling that I was somehow discounting, you know, children being sexually, you know, abused. Right. And I was, and so we had this whole debate. I'm like, and what I realized is, okay, she had this, anyway, she had this acronym and it had to do with child abuse. And I had no idea what it meant. So I'm sitting there communicating with her, and I'm going back and forth with her, and she says to me, she said, I'm glad you were cut. I'm glad you were cut. You should be cut. And I mean, she was like, I could tell she was very young. And so I said to her, I was like, you know what? I researched her. I researched that acronym. It's like child sexual survivor. And then it had something to do with, you know, child sexual media, where she was videotaped or something like that, which is a horrible, I mean, just a horrible thing. When I realized this, I mean, it makes me emotional now, because I was like, I'm sitting here arguing with this little girl about this stupid shit, you know? And then I said to her, you know, I would do anything to have protected you from that. And I'm really sorry this happened to you. And it literally completely changed the conversation. Well, guess what? We're friends now on Instagram. But I mean, this was a little girl who was sexually assaulted as a kid. It's just, I'm sorry. It's fucked up. But,
Daniel?
Yeah.
I want to say something in behalf of diplomacy, which is actually the best thing rather than being confrontational. There is a group, I can't remember their name, but they have the leaflets that Tony LaQuadro is distributing in the Intactivist folks, and it's on foreskin retraction. And it is a piece of fabulous diplomacy. It's on glossy paper. It's a trifold. It's a threefold over, a triptych, and it is absolutely wonderful from the beginning to the end. This is what one uses most of the time.
Can you send that to us, because I want to send that to someone who's on the call with us right now.
to send it to you, and I don't have your new mailing address.
Send it to dan@nextlevelintactivism.com.
We're just no. I want to mail it to you. I want to personally mail it to you.
Oh, okay. I'll give you my address after we get off the phone. I'll text
Okay,
it to you.
please.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, your new address in Tucson.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Serena, do you care if I describe what you recently experienced?
No.
Okay. Serena just had a baby, and she brought her baby to the doctor, and the doctor, I think the baby, now I know that blood in the urine is something that's definitely something that you need to go to see a doctor about, right? So I think she went to the doctor, but apparently it was only one time. So, you know, maybe it was just a tint or something like that. The child's kind of removing some sort of metabolic byproduct from his system, and it looked kind of like had a color to it or something. So she brings the child to the emergency room, and the doctor was asking her if she had been retracting it to clean, and he said that if you didn't clean behind it, that the child's going to have likelihood of cancer or phimosis or something like that. I don't know the whole story, but apparently the doctors were very rude to her and stuff like that. So what I'm considering doing, this happened in the state of Georgia, is doing a I don't know if we should gather the media of Georgia, but I want to at least send a pack. I know from what I understand, your whole baby, I think it was, has a packet that they used to send out to doctors. I don't know if they're doing this. They said to me that I could gather the information off their website and send it, but I think that's what we need to do. We need to send them the doctor's information. I'd like to actually complain against the doctors directly to the hospital, and then I would like to run a media campaign to the state of Georgia, maybe shaming that doctor.
David Llewellyn started that 2 years ago. He's had a lawsuit going for 2 years now to stop the hospitals in Georgia from doing forced retraction.
Really?
So you need to catch up on him with that.
Okay, I didn't know there's a lawsuit against it. Yeah, that's fantastic.
And you need to get a hold of Georgianne Chapin as well, because she's tied into that.
Okay. Well, see, Pat, you should be like an advisor to us. You should be like, because you know Pat's obviously very knowledgeable about that. You should be like an advisor to us. We need to talk more often. Hey guys, I've got to really get going. It's 8:30. We've been on here for 2 hours, so I'm going to let you guys go. And we did this was a fantastic meetup tonight. I think we had a great time tonight. I really appreciate everything. I thank you guys for all coming.
Daniel, I'm going to text you after. I'm going to text you afterwards and have you please send me your mailing address.
Okay. Okay, and I want to make sure Serena gets that as well. I'll send it to Serena somehow, some way. But anyways, I sent Serena a whole bunch of stuff on this stuff, so she's well aware of it. And Serena, good on you. Good on you for protecting your son and not letting the doctors manipulate you, and standing your ground with that. You protected your son. Forced retraction is extremely damaging and harmful. It will affect the literally growth of the tissue itself.
I want to have to say to Serena, that is how David Llewellyn got involved in Intactivism years ago. He went to the hospital. He took his little boy for the well baby check. They do it at 6 months, and he heard the baby screaming, and he burst into the room, and they were forcibly retracting his son's foreskin. That's what got him involved as a tort lawyer, the head tort lawyer in the entire organization.
Wow, that's fascinating. And it's in Georgia. Wow. Okay, so that would be, okay, this is leverage, right? So this is what I call leverage, right? The leverage is we're going to take this one doctor, we know his name, and we're going to plaster him all over the media outlets of Florida. All right, I want to embarrass him. And then I want to send the hospital a note that, look, we are educating the media of Florida about this occurring in your hospitals, and you should do some sort of talking with this doctor to educate him on the normal physiological development of the human male genitals. He needs to know this as a physician who's doing this to children, right? This is outrageous. It's disgusting. It's embarrassing. I mean, it's just a lobotomy of everything that's supposed to be medicine. It's horrible. It's disgusting that Serena would even have to put herself in this situation where she has to literally go against a doctor, you know. Anyways, it made me so mad to hear this. I was just so upset about this. It really needs to, and this is also a point that if we were to gather the database of Georgia, we could add another state, but also, and just real quick, just so you guys know, I think the databases are going to be going a little bit faster because I'm not going to do social media anymore. I was gathering social media. I was like, hey, someone who's doing social media will jump on this and do all the social media. I just don't think it's, I think if you have a whole bunch of lists of people in social media and you send them the same message, you get spammed anyways. So there's very little, if we have a conversation with somebody and, and we want to continue that conversation on social media, you could literally just ask them and get that information. So my goal, I think we can make the database gathering a little bit faster if we stop doing social media and we limit the amount of emails that we gather to instead of gathering the all of the media emails, we just gather the high value targets, reporters, publishers, and editors. That's the main ones.
I have a question.
Yes, go for it.
You were mentioning like some time back about like HIV. What's the deal with that?
Oh, there's a recent study that came out in Canada that had 56,000 participants that showed that there's no benefit whatsoever to HIV. A number of years ago, there were 3 what's called randomized controlled trials in Africa where they circumcised some men and then they didn't circumcise others, and then supposedly they found that there was this dramatic reduction in HIV transmission, which was a lie. What they did was they manipulated the study to have a small difference between the two, so they favored one side. And of course, if you take a very small number, you have a very, it actually looks like it. So if you take like half of 0.001 and you say, hey, we reduced it by half, 50%, but you literally went from 0.0005 to 0.0001. That's really not that much of a difference, but you can claim a 50% reduction, right? It's just ludicrous.
The relative risk reduction, yeah, they say the
relative
relative
risk
rather
reduction.
than the absolute.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Relative versus absolute. Very good point. Thank you for clarifying that. Relative versus absolute.
That first study was done. At and it was the guy who did the study was at the second international symposium on circumcision at the Miyako Hotel in Japantown, which has now been changed to another name, and that was the conference that you went to just 2 years ago. But at any rate, this young researcher who was a CIA stooge, I knew that, and he was all dressed in white and looking like he'd just come back from the tropic and everything. And when he was through with his talk, I stood up and I said, "Okay, you went to Africa and you did a study of HIV, and the results were all manipulated so it would come out with the circumcised men being superior to the intact males." And I said, "You went there, number one, because this was the thrust of your trip. But the real truth is that you're a closet case and you wanted to screw around with black men."
Oh
And
yeah, no. These are weird people. These are weird people.
Yeah,
I mean, they're connected in with Brian Morris and all this kind of
got
stuff.
a standing ovation from the crowd, and Marilyn Milos apologized for what I said.
Well, hey guys, I think we've beat this. We've finished this conversation today. I really appreciate you guys coming. Again, let's meet next week. We're going to keep going. Try to get as many of those. If you're doing the web form sending, try to get that as many of them done this week as you can. We're going to organize that and get them all sent. We're still going to be contacting more people. I'm still trying to get more people involved, and I've got some really good potential volunteers who are going to join us and help us take some of the pressure off of the rest of us. But let's keep it going. Glad you guys showed up for today, and thank you very much. And I will talk to you guys next week. Love you all, and peace out. Okay, I'm going to stop.
All right.
Daniel, I'm
Goodbye.
going to send you a text message to please tell you to send me your mailing address, and at the same time, I will send you a new limerick.
Okay. All right. Sounds good, Pat. All right.
All right.
Thanks to everybody.
Good
Take
talking
care.
to you, Danny. Good talking to you,
Talk to you
Danny.
guys soon.
Break up the adhesions between the foreskin and the head of the penis.
pediatrics, the reason we're circumcising is mainly because you feel more comfortable with a circumcised penis, especially since your other 2 children are already circumcised, right? Basically what we're doing is an elective procedure, primarily because you just feel more comfortable. In the clamp, then we clamp it.
Capitalizations behind circumcisions. Hospitals and doctors can make big bucks off the procedure, especially since the foreskin doesn't always go out with the biohazard. Sometimes it's sold for a profit.
Look at the data. It looks like there are some things that it does reduce the incidence of, but there are things that are incredibly rare anyway.
There are religious, ethical, cultural, and medical reasons to circumcise. For Father Kobe Johnson, despite being circumcised himself, he decided not to circumcise his 4 boys.
The concern of, oh, I'm going to look different than my dad, or I'm going to look different than the other guys in the middle school shower, it doesn't really come up that much.
To him, medical benefits didn't outweigh the risks.